My apologies for taking you away from that game. Wow, that's the most interesting thing that's going on right now. So, but I'm here.
We'll get started with AJ. We'll start in the middle here in the second row.
AJ, you're in Houston with a team that's ended a long playoff drought. We've got an ace left-hander. Is there any deja vu with 2015, or what? How does this team remind you of your first Astros team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have a really fun team, and we've earned our way here. Obviously, with young players, with using our roster to the strengths that we can, and winning for the first time in a long time, and that's where the comparisons are, and breaking through, having a winning record, making it to the postseason, the wild card. Like, I can see the parallels, but I love this team. I love what the energy that we bring, and the matchup problems that we bring, and some unique characteristics about the Detroit Tigers that make this a special run.
Going right to Brian.
Welcome back.
Hi, Tags.
When you had Framber Valdez when he came up and he was sort of fledgling, could you see that this was coming in him, or did you have any idea that he could become what he's become?
Yeah, I think with Framber, when he broke in, you could see the stuff was incredible. You could see the unique movement, the hard breaking ball, the durable body, and someone who took the mound and tried to attack every hitter. I think it's hard to predict that guys are going to go on have this kind of success, but from a ingredient standpoint, it was really fun to watch him break into the big leagues and become more and more dominant as he's gotten more and more in the strike zone and around the strike zone. He gets a ton of chase, he gets a ton of soft contact, he has weapons for everybody. He's been really good against left-handed hitters, which is not that unexpected given his stuff. And I think his world has calmed down around him in terms of his maturity competitively, when pitching on the big stage. I mean, he's pitched as important games as anybody in that room. So I can see the growth in him from the first day that I saw him as a prospect, and then leading into now anchoring a staff.
Go in the middle left.
Hi, AJ. I know you've been back in this building before, but what type of memories and emotions come to you, especially around this time of year, being here and back in
Yeah,
Houston?
there's nothing better than October baseball, and I have gotten to experience a lot of it in this building, and it's the best month to play because you have to earn your way here. You got to have a really good long 6 months, but a successful one to get here in the month, and then October baseball has really defined this building and this place for a while. So we know, we all watch baseball. If you're not in it, you're glued to the TV. If you're in it, a lot of times Septembers and Octobers have had to come through here. And so I think those are the memories that I have, sitting on this stage, talking to you guys, getting ready for pre-series workouts, like all that is something that I'm happy to be back at and ultimately want more of, because once you play in 1 October, you want to play in all of them.
We'll go to Chandler on the left.
Hey, AJ. Can you describe your relationship with Joe Espada and what
Like
made
today, you mean, or like
Just-
today's not great?
I guess I guess more in general before today, and
Yeah.
what made you want to call him in 2018 when you needed a bench coach?
I really do appreciate and respect everything about Joe, from the times toiling in the minor leagues together to being on the same coaching staff to now watching him guide his own team. I've really enjoyed watching him, sometimes up close, sometimes from afar, and when I was drawn to him, it was it's the personality, it's the vibe, it's the intellect, it's the baseball IQ, it's the fearlessness, his consistency, his work ethic. I mean, I could go on and on about his qualities, and that's what's made him a very good, major league manager in short order. I mean, his time that he spent on various coaching staffs under different managers was a time well spent, because he grabbed something a little from everybody, and now he's making it into his own. So he's had an incredible year guiding this team, and it hasn't always been easy. I've stayed in touch with him. We've talked a lot. Not sure how much we'll talk in the next 72 hours, but there will be a moment Maybe it's exchanging lineup cards, maybe it's behind the cage, maybe it's crossing paths at this media stuff, where I'll get a chance to congratulate him in person, because it's fun to see a good person grow in a job that he's really wanted for a long time.
Go on the front, Christy.
Hey, AJ. I know you've said you don't want to make this about you, but if you could just indulge me a little. I wondered, with all the ups and downs you've had over the last, several years, to have another team in the playoffs that hasn't been here in a decade and to be doing it against this team, can you just reflect on you personally and the journey that got you to this
Yeah,
point?
I mean, I mean it when I say once you manage or play in 1 October, you want all of them, and we haven't had a lot of them. I haven't had any of them since the last time I was here, and so. But the reason I wanted it is not so much for me, or not so much to get to experience this again. It's the room full of guys. I mean, coaches, players, our front office that's worked tirelessly to build this roster, our owner who took a risk on me when I was on the outside looking in. That's the meaningful part of this matchup and getting us back into October. I'd say I was sitting on a stage in a different city. If we were playing somebody different, it would mean just the same to me. Obviously, my history here brings these questions, and my route to get here has had a few bumps along the way. So I'm very appreciative of being in this role. I'm very appreciative of being one of the teams that's still standing and still fighting to win. And I'm never going to take that for granted. I'm not proud of the story to get here. I've owned up to that, and I will continue to do that. I'm very sorry for how it all went down, but all I had was the next opportunity to try to make it better and try to do my part to make this happen as fast as possible for the Detroit Tigers. And that group that's in the clubhouse over there waiting to go work out has worked tirelessly to get to feel this feeling, not for me, like not to single anybody out, but for our entire group in there. And that's the most rewarding is the young players that are getting to do this for the first time.
Stay in the front row.
Hey, AJ.
You ready?
Obviously, you're running things in Detroit now, but what they've been able to continue here, playing at a very high level, you had a chance to manage a lot of these guys. I would imagine you're not shocked at the success that's been maintained around here.
Yeah, I mean, talented group in all facets, behind the scenes and then on the field and the dugout, and the players. I've stayed in touch with a lot of people in Houston. I still call this home. And so, no, I'm not surprised, because they've been able to stack really good days on good days and good seasons on good seasons. And then they get, they get into October, and they're a tough team to beat. And so it's not by accident. It's not luck. It's, they're a challenge because of, the talent that's here and how they use their rosters. So I've gotten to be in Houston every offseason, since I was here. And I think it's very obviously how this team has captured the attention of this fan base and how they've responded to a team that's been dominant, not just for one season, but a lot of seasons.
Stay in the front.
Hey.
Hey, Jack.
Obviously, Scooble's had an amazing year, but where do you think that he's grown the most this year?
I think I've watched Tarek become a better pitcher. So there's the pitcher in him whose stuff is plus, his strike throwing is plus, his feel for pitching and, when to be a dominant first pitch fastball strike thrower, when to use secondary pitches, that's grown. So the baseball side of it is you can see it start to evolve as he becomes dominant in every category. He literally won the Triple Crown. So that is pretty easy to see. The part that you guys don't get to see that I get to see is his reaction to this, like his work in between his starts, his accountability to himself and to his team, when it's needed the most, the presence that he has on a clubhouse that's only gotten younger as we've gotten deeper into the season. He's been our steady, like he's been our guy. He's been able to grow in the national attention, yet be the same person behind the scenes with the same work ethic and the same routine. So that is one of the understatements, I guess, of the year of his year, that, you know, how good he's been, you know, for a team that really needed presence along the way through the good times and the, you know, the bad. He's been nothing short of the best pitcher in baseball, and that's no disrespect to a lot of pitchers who are dominant at this level. And he's our guy.
Go in the middle in the second row.
AJ, you're nearly 5 years removed from managing your last postseason game. How has managing in the postseason changed since then, in your opinion, from what you've watched over the years?
Well, I don't know if it's changed a ton. I mean, you're watching, you know, every postseason I watch every game. Like, I'm a baseball enthusiast. I love watching games. I love the stress. I love the studying the different moves that are made, and you know, the sense of urgency is probably getting greater and greater because the scrutiny behind every decision has multiplied. That's not to say that managers back in the day didn't have a ton of scrutiny. They do, but you know, the pitching decisions come faster. You know, I think more depth in the bullpen, or the use of starters in the bullpen, has created the opportunity to be okay making moves faster over the last decade. And then the matchup game is growing and growing and growing, where you're seeing more pinch hitting, more moves in game. Stolen bases, I think, are in the last year or so, since the rules have changed, have increased. So maybe little subtle tweaks in every area, but the pain of things that don't go your way and the joy of when it does hasn't changed a bit. It's still the same roller coaster ride that it's always been.
Go in the front row, Cody.
AJ, you kind of just answered part of my question, but what's it like for you watching the postseason over the past 4 years? I mean, has that been hard at all, or even watching the Astros?
Yeah, because that means you're out. You know, I mean, I think this is the time to play. I mean, this is why, you know, the Mets and the Braves are playing a doubleheader and leaving it all on the field today just to get a shot to travel cross country and play. I mean, this is why yesterday, you know, we're watching 2 games because we don't know where we're going. This is why you see celebrations on the field. So watching it, to me, is both, you know, the sport at its best, and also a reminder that you got a lot of work to do if you're not here, you know, because you got to put together a lot of good days to do it. So, I mean, if you can't tell, I love October. I think I think it's a great reward and a great opportunity for a team young, a team old, a team that was expected to be here, a team that wasn't. Whatever you're defined by, your best will come out in October, and you know, you gotta earn it to get here.
We'll stay on the left.
If we're getting into postseason managing, I'm just curious, given the bullpen strategy that's been taken this season, how that's impacted, you know, the decisions you've had to make in the last 24 hours.
So our roster isn't set yet. We don't have to set it till tomorrow. Our plan, you know, to give you a brief overview, is Tarik Skubal tomorrow and pitching chaos the rest of the way, which is kind of how it's been the last 2 months. Our players buy in. The usage of these guys has been random. They take the ball, they try to get their outs, they hand me the ball, and somebody else comes in. That's gotten us here, and that's going to help us, or put ourselves in the best position to help us win this series. Tarik Skubal notwithstanding, he gets to be a normal starter, traditional, let him go, and hopefully let him dominate. After that, we have a pitching staff full of talent, full of depth. They've continued to pitch well, and we've continued to be unpredictable. We want more of that.
Go on the right for a couple. Adam?
AJ, did you try and bring Joe on your staff when you first got here in 14?
In 14, no, I didn't interview Joe, no. I mean, I talked to him a ton. You know, it wasn't where he was in Miami at the time as the third base coach. We talked a little bit briefly about what it would be like, but I don't remember offering him a job.
And just, I guess, how did he make the team better once he did get here?
Yeah. So when he came, like, he had a ton of experience in a variety of roles in the Marlins system. He had then gone to New York. And you know, this is where you're in the middle of the playoffs, and guys are grabbing your staff because other teams that are not in it are building their next staff. So I knew I had an opening coming, and when we eliminated the Yankees, I was able to reach out to Joe and give him a heads up that we were going to want to talk to him. he came with an incredible work ethic. We had at the time, and they're still here, it's the three of the same four, incredibly talented infielders, which is Joe's specialty. He has tremendous work ethic to push guys to be better, and he made guys better. He made Carlos better, he made Alex better, he made Jose better, and that was a key piece that we needed to include in the next bench coach that I hired that time. His consistency and his relationships with players was something that was very important to me. Coming off the success that we had, I needed somebody who could push players. And it sounds eerily similar to why we hired Joey Cora this year.
We'll stay in the middle.
Hey, AJ. Experience. What kind of role do you think that plays this time of year? And if it is big, how big or why not? Joe said
Super important as a manager to have postseason playoff experience. Not as important for the players to have played in the postseason. Like, I can't lay it out any more simpler than that. I bet he did. Obviously, you cannot replace experience. I mean, we got guys, that have never played in Houston, let alone played in a playoff atmosphere. And so we're going to learn on the fly. We've done that. We've gone to a couple of pretty rowdy places in September, and our guys got to play playoff baseball for the better part of 2 months to just be a part of the playoffs. So, I think playoff experience is, tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be a playoff experience team. So can you match 100 at-bats for this guy or 150 at-bats for that guy or however many games? Like, probably not. It's hard to fathom, what this group of players in Houston have been able to experience. But make no mistake, experience also brings pressure. Like, we're not the only team, that feels the excitement. There's pressure on both sides, and there's pressure to perform at this level at this time of year. And, for us, we're going to continue to be the underdog, and that has not sucked for us in the last 2 months.
We'll go one more with Alden in the back.
Hey, AJ, that pitching chaos that you described, I guess conventional wisdom would say that it's hard for a staff to hold up when it's used that way over the long term. How is your staff as a whole feeling fatigue-wise going into this setting, and why do you think it has worked for you guys?
So, good question. Can I ask a question back? Like, what is long term?
I guess over the course of a full season, but for you guys, it's 2 months.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about a full season. That's exactly the point. I think for our guys, I have no idea whether you can do it for a full season. We did it for a third of the season, and our guys continue to do that. If you look at the usage pattern, go study the pitches thrown, go look at how I used guys. I think only one guy went 3 days in a row. You rarely went 3 out of 4. We had bulk relievers that were actually really starters. They'd go 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 innings out of the pen. I think we even had one reliever go 7 innings out of the pen. So we were able to keep guys fresh, keep guys sharp, get the right matchups, have them come in, throw a ton of strikes, and get into count leverage, and then give us a chance to miss some bats or get some soft contact. So, we try to just keep it really simple with our guys and pick whoever the leadoff hitter is that we want that pitcher to face, and go from there. I can't guarantee a soft landing with nobody on. I also can't guarantee that I'm going to, go to a guy right away if someone's rolling. So we over-communicate. Our guys know a lot more than I share. I mean, I'm not going to tip off what our plan is, but they come very, very prepared for what we're going to ask out of them that day. And I joke about the chaos. Like, it's more organized than I probably give it credit, but it's been effective because it's really hard to hit. And it's hard to hit guys when you don't get a second look at them, or you don't get, if you think about, repetitive behavior, if you throw a pitch to somebody and you hang a breaking ball and he fouls it off, you may never see that guy again. You had your chance. And so us being able to mix and match, and the players being so bought in that they have not even as much as complained an ounce, has really set us up to be able to make any decision that we want.